Hi everyone, Joe here, and thought I'd make a video about something I've been thinking about lately. I love my turntable. I've had it for many years. It's an MCS, I think it's a 6602, is that right? I'll put it here on the screen if that's not right. But got it a while back on eBay. It's great. I really like it. Works beautifully, but as I get a little deeper into vinyl, I'm just starting to have a little bit of dissatisfaction with my basic setup. So there's a couple things I want to do to hopefully improve my vinyl experience. The problem is that I'm almost hopelessly incompetent in everything I do, which explains a lot about the state of my life, frankly. But I think I have some upgrades that I can make that even I can handle. So you'll notice, first of all, on my turntable, I have a felt mat, and that I ordered an LP from some store, and they included that with it free when they shipped me my record. So, okay, that's fine. I've been using it. And I don't really have any problem with the mat itself. I mean, it does the job, but more and more I find when I take the album off the platter, that mat comes with it and sticks to the back of the record, and I have to peel it off like a banana and put it back on the platter. So obviously I'm getting some major static from that mat, which is of course not helping me keep dust out of the grooves as well as I'd like. So I have ordered a cork turntable mat, and I have received it. So even I think I can handle swapping out a turntable mat. That's not the big concern I have, but I have decided that I'm a little dissatisfied with the cartridge I've got on there, and that's the cartridge that came with it. It's a Stanton 500, and it's a very well-known, well-respected kind of starter cartridge. You know, it sounds reasonably good, it's very cheap, and you can replace the stylus for almost no money. So I've replaced the stylus several times, but it's still that same Stanton 500 cartridge, which was good enough when I was starting out, but I'm kind of over it. And so after a lot of research, after a lot of listening tests through YouTube, I have purchased myself an, what's it called? Ortofon. Of course, I know that name. Why couldn't I remember it? The Ortofon Red for the 2M cartridge. And I'm going to swap it out, or do my best to. So that in itself doesn't sound too hard. I've watched some videos about that, and I think I can handle that, but I just know that replacing the cartridge and even the mat, because the cork mat is thicker than the felt mat that's on there, it means I'm going to have to basically set the turntable up from scratch all over again. Set the anti-skate, set the height, set the tracking force, and set the angle for the cartridge. So that's a lot of little things that probably aren't very hard, but just to do them all at once is a little bit scary for me. So you can join me and laugh at my incompetence as I try to figure this out. Let's take a look. All right, time to get started. And the first thing I'll do is to swap out the mats. And wow, look at that. I didn't set anything on fire when I removed the old mat and put the new one on there. So that's the new cork mat, and it is one of the kind with the raised indentations on it, where supposedly because those bumps are raised, there is less surface area making contact with the record, so you supposedly get less turntable vibrations, less noise. Honestly, that's not even a factor in my thinking. I'm just tired of the mat sticking to the record when I take it off the turntable. So hopefully I'll see less static, and if that happens to help other things as well, so much the better. All right, let me get the cartridge off there. All right, I've got the cartridge off, and as you can see, the tone arm, because it's no longer balanced, has shot up into the air, and here is the old cartridge. That is a new stylus. It's only been on there a few weeks. So, well, it looks like it has a little bit of dust on the end. So anyway, time to replace this. And one thing I have to say is make sure you turn off your receiver before you do that, because when I unscrewed this, it came off easily, but suddenly I had this loud hum coming from my speakers because I guess it's not grounded anymore. So yeah, I guess it's probably common sense to turn your receiver off first, but I didn't, and I wish I had. So, all right, let's move along. All right, I've gone ahead and unboxed this beautiful new stylus, which I have here. And I'm sure most of you have seen these before. It's my first time seeing one in person. So the Ortofon. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to keep this as is, because eventually I may replace the stylus on this with a 78 stylus so I can listen to 78 RPMs. So I bought another head shell here. Got this off eBay, and it arrived today. It seems to be identical to this one, except it doesn't say the word Stanton on it. And since this is not a Stanton cartridge, that actually works for me. So I've got all my little tools here, and let me take a minute to read this little book that came with it. All right, that was pretty easy. I got it on here and got all the wires connected up by color. Did not even have to use pliers. I got them on there, I think, pretty securely. And now this will go through here, and I have screws that I will need to put in after I line it up. So let's move on to that. All right, I've got it on there. I have got it roughly centered, though I haven't tightened it fully yet because I want to make sure it's absolutely centered, and then I will tighten those last two screws up. All right, so I brought it back over and I got it on just fine. I turned the receiver back on. That grounding hum is gone again, so it really was just needed to have the cartridge in there and screwed on. And I just, very lightly brushed the needle to make sure that I get sound, and I do. So the cartridge does appear to be hooked up and working, but I don't want to play any music until we finish the rest of the setup. So let's take care of that now. All right, I just checked the manual for the new cartridge, and it says the recommended tracking force is 1.8. As you see, I am currently set for 2.5, which is quite a bit different for the old cartridge I had. So I'm going to go ahead and readjust this from scratch, and I don't really know a way to do it without moving the camera because it's over against the wall where I need to be. So I'll do that off camera and then we'll come back. Well, so far no one's dead. Everything went well. So I balanced, I'm sorry that had to be done off camera, but I took the counterweight off the back of the arm, then I put it back on until I was able to get the tone arm to balance freely. Then I held the back, I set the counterweight to 1.8, which is what the Ortofon setting said I should be using. I set the anti-skate to match, which is typically what you're supposed to do. But now we have to actually test the anti-skate, and that's very easy if you have a single-sided record or if you have a test disc where it has a big band on there where you can drop the needle and there's no grooves to move it along. What do you do if you don't want to spend $50 to get a test record? Well, if you're like me, you jump on eBay for $1 or so and buy a laser disc. So this just arrived. It is literally, I just went and found the cheapest laser disc on eBay. So this was $1 plus shipping. And it is the size of a vinyl record, of course, 12 inches. But it is completely flat, no grooves. And this is a great poor man's way, so they say, to set anti-skate if you don't have a test record. So let's give it a try. All right, I've got the laser disc on the table. It took a couple of tries to get it to not be wobbly because the spindle hole is so big, so I had to play a couple times to position it. I haven't actually dropped the needle down on it yet. By the way, those lines you see, that's just weird reflections. That's not actually there when I look at it with my eye. Just looking at it through the camera, I see all these weird wavy lines, reflections on the laser disc, but it's not like that for real. So I don't have some weird floating laser disc. So I'm going to try to reach around the camera now and try not to bump it. And I'm just going to move this over. Wow, okay, so yeah, we probably have to adjust the height. Let me go ahead and put this arm, push the lever all the way down. And yeah, I think you see I think that's a little too high, so we got to play with the height adjustment too, but let's see how the anti-skate is. Okay, it goes backwards, so need to adjust that setting a little bit. All right, I had to play with it a minute. Tried going up and down until I found the part here where the needle is perfectly on. It's not drifting left or right. So our anti-skate should be all right. Let's see about the height adjustment now. All right, I think I got it. Let me see if I can indicate here without knocking the camera over. So a lot of times the height adjustment will actually be a ring that you can rotate at the base. I don't have that. I do have the anti-skate over there on the right, the black circle that maybe you can see. But this is the height adjustment here. There's a screw. So I had to use this little screwdriver, which fortunately came with the cartridge. I had to loosen this screw here and then using 2 fingers raise it up. And that brought the tone arm up enough that I think the tracking force, not the tracking force, the angle, hang on, I'm trying to find it. There it is. Okay. So because that mat is so much higher, thicker than my last one, I noticed that when I moved the cartridge over, the tone arm was kind of angled, so it was going like diagonally down. So you want always the arm to be going horizontal, not kind of diagonal. So I raised it up, and I think now we won't know until we get a record on there, but I think that's going to be pretty close to horizontal when it goes across. So let's throw a record on and see what we get. All right, I also set the strobe, which actually was correct. I didn't have to adjust it. So strobe is good. The rotation speed should be fine. I threw some Charles Mingus on the turntable. Okay, I've got it queued up. I'm going to drop the needle here. We're going to, first of all, we want to just listen for the sound. I'll have to talk over this a little bit so YouTube doesn't block me. But we want to make sure the anti-skate is good and that the stylus doesn't, slide across the record when we drop the needle down. So let's give it a try. Yeah. That is a real difference in that sound. That bass is kicking. Everything sounds crisp and detailed. Now this is interesting. When I go to cue up another track and I set it here, and then I reach to put this down, it's dropping. So perhaps the anti-skate still needs a little bit of fooling around with. So I'm just going to do this manually. No, it's pushing against me. It's trying to go back. So I'm going to have to fix that. Aha, you know what it was? It was the height adjustment. It was a little bit uneven. I had raised one side up very slightly higher. So gravity was pulling the arm back down. So I raised the other end up, and now we're in good shape. Well, I didn't mean to drop it between tracks because we can't really hear what it sounds like. Yeah, this record needs a cleaning for sure. Some crackling, but it sounds good. All right, I don't want to get a YouTube strike, so I'm going to take that up. But yeah, I'm very pleased with the way it sounds. I should have thought to have done some A and B footage on the old cartridge, but it didn't occur to me. But trust me when I say that the bass is amazing compared to what it used to sound like. The highs are better. It doesn't sound just quite so muddy. Definitely good, and I can't wait to hear how it's going to sound once I clean up this record a little bit, get it through the spin cleaner, and get some of that dirt out from in the grooves. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and look forward to hearing your tips for setting up your turntable. Did I do anything wrong? Let me know.